Going on, guys? It has been 1 month since my latarjet shoulder stabilization surgery, and things are going better than ever. Things are loose, things are feeling fresh. I got a little bit of movement back, which is really nice. Feeling pretty good. Today's gonna be a little bit of a different video. I actually filmed some stuff over at the gym while I was doing my full-on PT, kind of with gym equipment and the whole thing. So I'm gonna be doing some voiceover work today. And then after that, I'm going to actually do a scar reveal and kind of show what the scar is looking like after 4 weeks. In about a week and a half or so, I've got my 6-week doctor's appointment checkup, and I think that's going to be the point I don't have to use the sling at all, which will be great. But for now, let's jump over to the PT. So the first thing you guys will notice is I'm doing these kind of bicep curl, like weightless bicep curls. A couple of things that are different now is, first one is I don't need to use the other hand to assist it. It's also become just quite a bit easier at this point just to go through and do these. You can see I'm grimacing just a little bit. I did this actually at the end of the workout today because it tends to be a good like kind of cool down for the bicep, but usually it's pretty easy. So I'd say at 4 weeks you're going to be able to do this without any assistance, and it won't be much of a problem. All right, so I showed you guys these in the last update. This is basically the assisted kind of arm raise to extend your range of motion upward. Doing these sitting down at this point. I've also been doing them kind of from the beach chair position as well. But you can see, you know, a couple weeks ago I was at about 100 degrees in terms of the rotation. This week's measurement at my PT had me up at about 112, and then the second PT this week had me up to 117 degrees. My usual range of motion on my other arm is about 175 degrees. So I got a long way to go, but definitely you can see that I'm just able to go a little bit farther back. I'm also doing 50% of the work with the left arm, which is the hurt arm. So that's new. So yeah, it feels pretty good though afterwards. It usually feels pretty stretched out. So this one is a brand new one. It's kind of like a single arm raise. So you're using your strong arm to lift your hurt arm. And I would say of all the ones, this one is the most uncomfortable. You see me trying to do it a few different ways just to make it a little bit more comfortable. I think probably holding it from the outside is the best, but yeah, you can really feel the pull on the muscles, and this is where you can kind of tell that your shoulder has been remixed a little bit. You can just tell as you go up that things are pulling different kind of internally. So it's going to take some getting used to, I think, for me to kind of get that, to make this feel normal for myself, because you can kind of tell, at least for me, I can kind of tell the difference between the two arms. The other thing about it is I am kind of shrugging to my right a little bit, if you can tell. I end up with like my right shoulder ends up being a little bit lower than my left shoulder, so I think I'm trying to cheat a little bit. So anyway, it's a new one, and it's pretty darn tough. So at least at week 4. Look at what's happening in PT, some of the newer exercises or modified exercises you've seen before, but doing it in a different way. Like I said, now I'm going to do the scar reveal. So we're going to show the scar right here. There we go. And you can kind of see, you know, it just kind of has formed a little line, and there was a bunch of scabbing and there was a bunch of icky stuff and like kind of leftover. They use this glue to kind of close your incision. So you'll find that like around the incision, there's quite a bit of just like stickiness. So it wasn't until like last week that I could kind of like scrub it without there being any kind of pain. So I was able to kind of, you know, put some soap on there, and that cleaned it up really nice. But literally yesterday was like kind of the final big piece of scabbing kind of fell off, which, you know, is kind of like, okay, well, I assume this is going to be how the scar is going to look. I've heard there's something to be said about scar massages and rubbing the scar. I've been told to not put anything else on it, but when I have my follow-up in about a week, I'll ask about that. I don't know if you're supposed to use like cocoa oil or if you're supposed to use, you know, something to, you know, try to make the scar a little bit smaller, but if they say to do that, I will. If not, I guess it'll just be what it is. So anyway, guys, that's the update. Things are going great. Keep it up. If you're doing your own rehab, you're watching these videos to support, you can do it. It gets better. Every week has been better so far, and I've heard from a few people I've talked to that week 6 is really kind of a milestone week where things start to feel a little bit more normal. So I'm just hoping to get there. So, all right, guys, thanks a lot. Talk to you later.